Hi everyone, I'm Kenny Ting, Director of Asian Civilizations Museum. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us at the digital press presentation to SG Fashion Now. SG Fashion Now represents a tremendous shift for ACM because this is our first exhibition dedicated to contemporary Singapore fashion. We are doing this exhibition in the hopes of encouraging and exploring new ways of addressing the question, what is Singapore fashion? But from the perspective of us being an open, global, and cosmopolitan port city. And against the backdrop of Asia's rich cultural heritage, which is also Singapore's cultural heritage. SG Fashion Now is also guided by our recent 2020 repositioning into Singapore's National Museum of Asian Antiquities and Decorative Art. This allows us to celebrate the artisan historically and today, and to support craft and craftsmanship. So I hope you see in this exhibition also this idea of innovation in the space of tradition and of craft. In the spirit of innovation, the form of the exhibition itself is also experimental. We decided that we cannot do an exhibition on contemporary Singapore fashion without the strong partnership of the industry, community, and of education. And so I'm very happy to say that this exhibition is a collaboration between ACM, LASALLE, and the Textile and Fashion Federation of Singapore, TaFF. With LASALLE, we have a collaboration wherein we have the students of LASALLE School of Fashion curate this exhibition. This is a radical shift from the usual way we've curated the exhibition, and I have to say that I'm very pleased with the result. The students have basically presented a show that is both very ACM as well as a provocation of what ACM is. With TaFF, we've collaborated in that the winner of Singapore's National Fashion Design Competition, Singapore Stories 2020, has her piece featured alongside other Singapore designers in Singapore Fashion Now. And of course, I'm so very pleased that within the main exhibition itself, we have 8 Singapore and Singapore-based fashion designers featured, from the very established to the very experimental. I'm very happy to say that we have some of these leaders in the fashion industry and community here with us today, joining me to launch this exhibition, and you'll hear from them very, very soon. If there's one key message I hope that you take away with you today, it is that Singapore has talent and we have to support our talent. I want to thank everyone that was involved in making this exhibition happen. We couldn't do this without you. That's all for me today. I hope very much that you enjoy SG Fashion Now.
Hello and welcome to the launch of SG Fashion Now. I'm Professor Steve Dixon, President of LaSalle College of the Arts, and it's my great honour to share a few words on this occasion. This time last year, we were all living in the virtual space of Zoom meetings, and arts events were characterised by digital rather than physical showcases. Today, while we aren't able to hold this event in person, I'm nonetheless delighted to be standing in this gallery at the Asian Civilizations Museum, surrounded by a marvellous physical exhibition. Questions of materiality, of craftsmanship, and of what it means to preserve both tangible and intangible heritage, these are ever more pressing and pertinent issues in our socially distanced times. The past year has changed not only the ways we connect with the rest of the world, but how we connect with people and spaces closer to home. And these are just some of the questions that our BA Honours Fashion Media and Industry students thought deeply about while putting together the proposals for this exhibition. Its focus is an increasingly significant one: Singaporean fashion identity. You will find here a scintillating showcase of local designers, as well as Singaporeans based abroad, using a range of practices and philosophies. I also invite you to browse the brilliant digital catalogue, packed with thoughtful interviews and essays that shed further light on the ideas behind the exhibition. We are immensely grateful to the Asian Civilizations Museum for giving our students this opportunity to put their curatorial ideas to the test in such a stunning national venue. Sincere thanks to Kenny Ting, Jackie Young, Barbara Frass and the rest of the wonderful ACM team. And to our fantastic student curators and lecturers from LaSalle's School of Fashion, my warmest congratulations. Bravo! Thank you and enjoy the show.
Textile and Fashion Federation is a trade association representing locally based companies that are in the fashion ecosystem. The vision for the industry is that Singapore will be an innovative fashion hub of Southeast Asia. There are three key areas which TaFF focuses on: technology and innovation, sustainability, and Asian craft, to help differentiate the Singapore fashion industry. Amongst the many programs and initiatives that TaFF has, Singapore Stories is one of the key programs that galvanizes the community to help promote and support the locally based brands. Founded 3 years ago, the objective of Singapore Stories was to encourage designers to create a Singapore-inspired capsule. And we are very grateful that Asian Civilizations Museum shared the common vision of supporting local fashion industry and raising the appreciation of Asian arts and culture. We hope that through better appreciation, the designers will, taking a line from Lai Chang, borrow, appropriate, fuse and blend that into their designs. ACM has been very generous with their support. Not only did we get Jackie to be one of the mentors for the Singapore Stories semi-finalists, but also Kenny to be one of the judges. In addition, ACM also provides a rare opportunity to finalists to visit the Heritage Conservation Centre, where designers can view some of the ACM's exquisite pieces up close. Last year, the theme was reimagining history and creating the future of fashion in Singapore. In the exhibition, you will see how some of the designers have taken the theme, their perspectives, their stories, and their learnings from ACM to produce their pieces. This is a collection of Nude Femme by Adeline Putri. This piece was inspired by the Samsui women's Samfu. She has totally revolutionized and updated the design by making it into a denim jumpsuit. The signature red headgear of the Samsui women has been cleverly used to design a clutch bag. Adeline had also weaved in a Chinese knot through a collaboration with another brand called Intrigue. This ensemble is from the brand Mathahu. The designer Matthew Hartman has been in Singapore for more than 10 years and is known for her easy breezy design, where the focus is on batik and shibori prints. In her Singapore Stories collection, Pranakan Tea Party in the Gardens, she had drawn inspiration from a piece taken from the Indonesian Eurasian batik maker Eliza van Zielen that is featured in ACM. When we are in ACM's Heritage Conservation Centre, we also see a beautiful Malay wedding tunic, which the designer Nida Tahir Shahiria of Nida Shea used in her collection. She had taken some of the elements to produce this cross-cultural piece under her collection called Reminisce. We can see that the intricate embroidery that is in her piece, such raised thread embroidery, is similar to European military uniforms that are seen in the 17th century. She has used this to embroider her floral patterns that are seen in many of her designs. This is Carol Cheng's of CYC story of her forefather coming to Singapore. Her collection, The Sky as a State of Mind, is how she envisaged her forefathers looking up the sky when they journeyed through to Singapore in a boat. She had drawn inspiration from photographs of the sky and using technology to create the prints.
SG Fashion Now is ACM's first display of contemporary Singapore fashion, exploring designs and approaches that reflect Singapore fashion and Asian heritage today. As part of ACM's effort to represent Asia in fashion, we aim to contribute to the national discussion of what contemporary Singapore fashion is through the context of Asia. This project was conceived as a platform to bring together key members of Singapore's fashion ecosystem, including designers, the industry through TaFF, and students through a partnership with LaSalle School of Fashion. Museums and fashion often reflect important historical and cultural moments. The current pandemic is no doubt a defining period of this century, and museums worldwide, including ACM, feel the pressing need to support our local fashion communities in this time. The pandemic accelerated our discussions with TaFF, LASALLE, and designers, and parts of what you see in this show was organised even during the circuit breaker last year. Against the backdrop of ACM's mission and collection, and through student mentorship by ACM and LASALLE staff, the exhibition SG Fashion Now features works by 8 designers, including the winner of TaFF 2020 edition of Singapore Stories. The 8 designers featured either practice in Singapore or are Singaporeans based abroad with a distinctive style. They emphasize good craftsmanship, which is a central theme of the exhibition. The works display reflect the importance of slow fashion, capture notable moments in history, and were made in recent years. Among the 8 works, 3 works by Andrew Ng, Lai Chang, and Shunmugam represent the first contemporary Singapore fashion works from ACM's own collection. The LaSalle student curators responded to our collection of these 3 works and TaFF's winning work by proposing an exhibition theme and 4 designers. Up next, we're glad to have Andrew Ng, Lai Chang, and Priscilla Shannon join us today to share about their pieces on display. Perhaps Andrew needs no introduction, being one of our most established designers globally. Based in Paris since 1996, he is the only Singaporean designer to be featured in the exclusive Paris Fashion Week. Andrew's designs are known for his East meets West aesthetic, an exuberant use of colours, luxurious materials, and great attention to detail. Celebrities who appreciate his works stretch from Hollywood to Bollywood, from Europe to Asia, and of course in Singapore itself. Lai Chang is known as Singapore's Cheongsam master, with a signature refined style that is rich in fine detailing. Practicing for nearly 40 years, his modern cheongsams are frequently seen during bridal, red carpet, and celebratory occasions. Finally, Shunmugam has established itself over the past decade as a brand that takes inspiration from traditional Asian fabrics and styles to create well-tailored modern works. She shows sensitivity towards diversity, cultural ownership, and female empowerment in her works. The custom-made piece on display was donated by ACM's long-term patron and lover of Singapore fashion and the arts, the author Miss Paige Parker. And now, over to Andrew, Lai Chang, and Priscilla.
My name is Andrew Ng. I'm a Singaporean designer based in Paris. It's very important for me to be part of this exhibition. For me, also, I feel very honored to be included. I name my Spring-Summer 2021 collection May There Be Light. It was designed during the terrible pandemic of COVID-19. So it was, for me, an extremely emotional collection. Because of the lockdown, we were all working from home. And it makes you think about things that you never thought about. You think about hope. You start questioning about the life after the pandemic. It was a scary moment for everyone. And I must say that I was in a kind of uncertainty. I was in kind of a passage. But I said to myself, in a time like this, only hope and only joy, the pleasure of life could keep you going. And that's why I named this collection May There Be Light. And there was a lot of beautiful different shades of white, different embellishments, different fabrics, and white were featured in this collection because white represents rebirth. It represents also hope, optimism, and joy of life. The dress is a very simple column dress with a cape. What makes it so special is the modernity of the sparseness of the dress, and if only one embellishment are the beautiful macrame fringe that was produced specially for us by a very old trimming company in Italy that we've been working for many years. Fashion for me reflects the world we're living in, and it really shows the sign of the time. So to include contemporary fashion in museum or museums in the world, it is just essential, because today you do not want to associate only culture or civilization or pieces from the past, because that is not complete. So to have a complete picture for the younger people and to reflect the state of mind, it is so important to include contemporary things, not just fashion, contemporary culture, pop culture, music. You want a younger generation to come to your museum and say, oh my God, this is also about us. It's not about our parents, it's not about our grandparents, it's about us. It's about now, our life right now. So I think this is such a great idea to put contemporary fashion in the museum, to exhibit it. And hopefully this will not be the last exhibition, and it should be an ongoing basis. Also, very emotional for me to donate that piece to the Museum of ACM, because it's the first time I can give something back to my country. And I love my country, and especially living away for so many years, I miss the people, I miss the culture, I miss the warmth, I miss my family, I miss all my friends. And so it was quite a moment, and I'm so glad to be included in this exhibition, and hopefully we'll do more collaborations in the future with ACM.
My name is Lai Chang, and I'm a fashion designer. This is one of the special dress that I made to celebrate the Chinese and the modern contemporary H Hfz, sometimes well known as Cheongsams. And we made it using interesting fabric that's new. The technique of cutting it are all very traditional as well. We cut it differently now. It's cut on a bias. And when it's bias, it's a very European technique. You don't see it, but then the one wearing it will understand and feel it. This dress is made in tulle material. I work with lace, I work with embroideries. I use the corded lace. I use different type of technique. I use the fabric that's crinkled and that's pleated as well. Then I cut and patch it myself again. Those are fabrics that we just made ourselves to give it a little bit of volume, but yet it's not too much as well. The collars, I like them higher. There's something about a certain height of this collar that makes the woman stand up straight, look up straight, and I think it's not just about whether it's comfortable or not, but it's to remember the woman that they are, the woman that we love, that we are proud of it. I think that it's very important for the museums here to have very traditional things that you already have. All the costumes or whether any other arts that you can find, say, many centuries ago. So to bring forward the contemporary ones now. This crossroad of culture, of time, of our own identity. So it's very important for us now to know that we are not exactly Chinese. We are not exactly westernized. We are really at this crossroad of our life, of our culture. Everything else is our personality as well. So I think it's very important for us to really think about clothes that is suitable, that's not just well done, but I think it must be our roots as well.
I'm designer Priscilla Shannon from the label Shunmugam. When we approached this piece, we approached it the same way we come to design any piece that we do, whether it's part of our ready-to-wear range or a custom piece like this one is. I'm always kind of looking at it from the point of view as both a Chinese and a non-Chinese person. And then I always consider the wearer and imagine that wearer to be of any race, of any identity, of any skin color, and just try and use color and fabric and motifs or silhouettes to be sensitive to the wearer. At the same time, to be sensitive to what we do as a brand, what we believe in. And I think because of that approach, people may think of us as a brand that is known for playing around with prints, sort of contrasting them, sort of forcing juxtapositions and taking them and just kind of having fun with them. But, there is a different side of us where we actually exercise a lot of restraint. And I think this piece is a shining example of that, where we kind of just pared it down and made sure that when Paige put the dress on, she would be wearing it and not the other way around. I had a really solid technical team surrounding me. We could take a very clean silhouette with a very beautiful fabric, merge the two up together and come out with a piece that would sort of just stand there, that has a kind of stature and would just exude this unquestionable confidence and glamour. I think a museum, any museum in any country, any part of the world, is a sacred space. Throughout my creative career, museums in Singapore especially have just given me so much, and I feel sort of imbued by what the museums do. I think museums tell you what's important, what's relevant, and they have that powerful force to shape cultures to come. To see fashion in Singapore, and I mean Singapore fashion, right, being given that spotlight is long overdue. It's not really a question of who's featured or who's not featured. It's that wider movement. It's that decision that shows people, shows the wider public that fashion is a form to be respected. It takes it to this different category. People sit up and take notice. On the flip side, to creatives, to fashion designers, to fashion practitioners, for them to see a piece that they've personally made from scratch, make it into a museum in Singapore, it's like completing a sentence, a beautiful sentence. There's a lot more to come, I'm sure. But yeah, to be involved in the start of this movement, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and I'm really grateful.
As the winner of Singapore Stories 2020, Carol Chen's debut collection, Neoterica, is inspired by Singapore's modernity, inclusive culture, and architecture. The title derives from the ancient Greek word neoterikos, which means new or young. Interestingly, she pays homage to traditional artistry of South and Central Asia by featuring Zardozi embroidery of silver threads and beads in the work on display now. This piece was worn by actress Kiki Lim at the Star Awards ceremony this year at Changi Airport. Together, this exhibition is not meant to be a representative retrospective of Singapore fashion history or of one Singapore style. Rather, it is a thoughtful snapshot of different approaches by Singapore designers today, united by the common commitment to well-crafted fashion.
My name is Silvia Estrosa, and I'm the head of the School of Fashion at LaSalle College of the Arts, Singapore. Jackie and I had been talking about a possible student collaboration between the ACM and LaSalle. So we decided that fashion curation was an area where we wanted to explore. We consider that fashion exhibitions are the perfect meeting point to open debates around fashion and establish creative dialogues between designers, the general public, and the community. I'm a trained fashion curator, and I run the curatorial workshop at Level 3 with my colleague Daniela Monasterio-Stan. In this workshop, we introduce students to fashion curation as a practice. For me, it's very important for the students to use their curatorial skills for anything they do, as it allows the students to be deeply familiar with the materials, craft, and traditions from Singapore and Asia. An understanding of curatorial practice allows the students to observe, analyze, and evaluate materials and objects from the region through different lenses to tell interesting narratives from this part of the world. And for this specific project, a team of 5 students curated this exhibition focused on craftsmanship. This partnership reiterates how joint efforts are required to support the future of local creatives. On this occasion, the museum space became the classroom. So the students' learning and application happens right here at the museum, in this gallery space. ACM was able to offer the student curators access to the full range of the museum expertise and accompanying resources, such as opportunities to develop their curatorial vision, lead the design, the installation of the show, conduct interviews with selected fashion designers, and even present talks and propose educational programs in conjunction with the exhibition team. It was a real collaboration involving our LASALLE lecturers and ACM staff from the curatorial, audience, and exhibition teams. I have never seen any fashion museum around the world engage at such level with the students. So we feel very, very fortunate to have the ACM here in Singapore. Through SG Fashion Now, we hope to continue to develop young talents and positively support the local fashion community.
Hi, I am Cecilia Wong, student curator from LaSalle. Have you ever wondered what our national attire might be, or if there's a particular look that represents multicultural Singapore? This was a guiding question as we curated this display at SG Fashion Now. In search for an answer, we turned our attention to a tangible aspect of fashion, such as the craft of making clothes. This exhibition explores the modes of craftsmanship practiced by 8 designers who are either Singaporeans or design practitioners based in Singapore, running the gamut of tailoring and embroidery to laser cutting and 3D printing. We wish to highlight the diverse approaches of the designers, each drawing from the rich heritage of fashion and craft in Singapore. Through conversations with them, we dove into their processes and memories to discover what informs their practices. In doing so, we begin to piece together what makes up Singapore fashion today. The designers represent part of the larger fashion scene in Singapore and were chosen as a response to ACM's selection to highlight contemporary applications of traditional craftsmanship or innovation in tradition. This exhibition features designers that straddle between traditional and contemporary styles for the modern international audience. This includes designers representing Singapore on a global stage, those at the helm of well-loved ready-to-wear and bespoke pieces, those that reinterpret traditional fabrics and techniques for the modern Singapore woman, those who dare to dream with personal and thoughtfully crafted pieces, and those that speculate on the future of fashion craftsmanship. We were inspired by how ACM not only celebrates Asian traditions of craft and the often humble Asian artisans and craft women across history, but also encourages innovation in the space of tradition so that these traditions may stay alive today. Here's a piece by Hu Rei-Hsien from Studio H Hfz. Studio H Hfz was founded in 2018 and specializes in bespoke cheongsams that are infused with a contemporary twist. Over here, we have a piece from their 2021 Lunar New Year collection entitled More Than That. This piece was done in collaboration with local printmaker Lai Chang, who created the graphic illustration. The graphic print illustrating a naked character embracing a heart was done to convey self-love and freedom, a message that is very prominent in the 21st century. We particularly like how this piece showcases the intersection of tradition through the silhouette, the color, and the cut of the teapot, and modernity, which is reflected both directly on the print and indirectly embedded in the storytelling aspect of the garment. Over here, we have a piece from a 3-generational local fashion house, Style Mart. What is unique is the bricolage of 2 cultures coming together, the kebaya paired with the embroidered sari. The designer Kavita Tulasidas is all about showcasing our multicultural country through the lens of fashion, which is something we really love. She uses intricate craftsmanship such as the detailed Parsi-inspired motifs embroidered on the sari, as well as the mixture of blue and gold beads on the kabaya to showcase Singapore's multiracial and ethnic society. The rich cultural representation of the chosen two-piece ensemble not only stands out from the crowd, but also highlights how the different ethnic groups in Singapore come together, making the country special as it is. This ensemble from Bill's Design is part of their 2019 collection, Anthropology of Cultural Dementia, and features a reinterpretation of Chinese opera costumes inspired by the National Museum's archival collections of local street performance. What makes this garment so interesting is that it is created with 3D printing technologies, showcasing a rather unique and unorthodox aspect of garment making. This wearable art piece juxtaposes traditional Chinese elements with futuristic structures and crafting processes, displaying the evolving type of craft added to the Singapore identity, and well encapsulates the idea of never-ending possibilities for the future of Singapore fashion. You might remember seeing this cheongsam on Singaporean actress Constance Lau, who wore this at the Hollywood premiere of Crazy Rich Asian in 2018. This marked a huge milestone for the emerging local fashion scene on an international stage. This reinterpretation of a traditional cheongsam is by designers Letitia Fay and Jade Sui from Time Taken to Make a Dress. This piece is recognized for its experimental cuts and intricate handwork that defines the traditional bridal wear, created in conjunction with Chinese Cultural Week. The classic cheongsam cut gives way to dramatic tassels in hand-painted, fading red ombre that symbolizes a shift from traditional to contemporary craft. Embarking on this year-long collaboration has not only widened my understanding, but also provided me a very insightful experience on how fashion exhibitions are conceptualized, as I was given unique access to how everything is put together and brought to life from the back end. It truly takes a lot of brains and pairs of hands to make this happen. Being part of the curatorial team has given me the opportunity to experience every part of the process, which I'm immensely grateful for. On behalf of all the student curators, I would like to thank the LASALLE teaching team and the ACM team for the mentorship and guidance. Lastly, I would like to thank my teammates for being part of this brilliant experience with me. We hope that SG Fashion Now will offer a fresh understanding of Singapore's crafted fashion identity and the possibilities for its future.